The Great Pyramid, mostly that's the one that's been studied. We actually haven't done a whole lot of studying on the other pyramids. It's something that's severely lacking. In fact, we've not even cleared off the bases of some of the other pyramids up at Giza. It's crazy.
So you can understand why people start to question the historical narrative.
The reality of them is probably stranger and more interesting than anything people can think up in terms of fiction.
For centuries, we've believed that the ancient Egyptians were the masterminds behind this architectural marvel. But what if they weren't? What if instead, they simply moved into these colossal structures? Join us as we explore groundbreaking theories, unravel new discoveries, and challenge everything we thought we knew about one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
I'm willing to accept that the Great Pyramid was largely completed by the ancient Egyptians.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, built during the 4th dynasty of Egypt for Pharaoh Khufu around 2580 to 2560 BC, has long captured the imagination of people worldwide. The discovery of its entrance and the subsequent exploration of its interior chambers have significantly deepened our understanding of ancient Egyptian architecture and burial practices. For centuries, the entrance to this monumental structure was a mystery. Originally, the pyramid was encased in smooth Tura limestone, which concealed any openings. By the time explorers began their quest, most of this casing had been stripped away, revealing the underlying structure.
The Great Pyramid was sealed. It was a sealed monument.
The first recorded discovery of the entrance dates back to 820 AD when the Caliph al-Mamun ordered an expedition to uncover the pyramid's secrets.
The Caliph al-Mamun, who was running Egypt at the time, wanted to get inside the Great Pyramid.
His workers supposedly found the hidden entrance after hearing a stone fall within the pyramid. They located the entrance about 17 meters above the ground on the northern face, slightly to the east of the central axis. This discovery led them to a descending passageway. From the entrance, the descending passageway measures about 1.2 meters high and 3.5 wide, sloping downwards at an angle of approximately 26 degrees.
Is there not a hidden chamber as well?
In fact, there is a whole underworld at Giza. This is beginning to be recognized.
This passage extends for about 105 meters into the pyramid, eventually reaching the subterranean chamber, also known as the pit. This chamber lies beneath the pyramid, carved into the bedrock, and is unfinished, roughly hewn, and not fully smoothed out like other parts of the pyramid. Measuring approximately 27 by 14 meters and about 8.6 meters high at its highest point, the chamber's purpose remains unclear.
We actually don't know what these chambers were for. No burial of any pharaoh was ever found inside the Great Pyramid.
Some theories suggest it was an early attempt at a burial chamber or simply an unfinished part of the construction. Halfway along the descending passageway, an ascending passageway branches off upwards. Similar in dimensions to the descending passageway, it extends for about 39 meters before reaching the Grand Gallery. The entrance to the ascending passageway was originally concealed by a stone block, adding an extra level of security. The Grand Gallery is one of the pyramid's most impressive features. It is a steeply inclined corridor, measuring about 46.6 meters in length, 8.6 meters in height, and 2.1 meters in width at the base, narrowing slightly towards the top. The walls of the Grand Gallery are lined with precisely cut stones, and the ceiling consists of corbelled stone blocks, creating a vaulted appearance. The floor has a series of slots, possibly for the placement of beams or to aid in the transportation of heavy objects. Approximately halfway along the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passageway leads to the so-called Queen's Chamber. This chamber is smaller than the King's Chamber, measuring about 5 3/4 meters by 5 1/4 meters, with a height of 6 1/4 meters. The walls are smooth and the ceiling is pointed, forming a gabled roof. The exact purpose of the Queen's Chamber is still debated. It might have been intended as a secondary burial chamber or a symbolic chamber for the pharaoh's spirit. Continuing up the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passage leads to the King's Chamber, the most important room in the pyramid. The King's Chamber is rectangular, measuring about 1.5 by 5.2 meters, and has a flat roof composed of massive granite beams. The chamber's walls are also lined with granite, and the floor consists of large granite blocks. Inside the King's Chamber is a large granite sarcophagus, believed to have held Khufu's body. The sarcophagus is too large to have been brought in through the existing passages, indicating it was placed during the construction of the pyramid. Above the king's chamber are 5 relieving chambers, designed to distribute the weight of the pyramid and prevent the roof of the king's chamber from collapsing. These chambers are separated by large horizontal slabs of granite, each layer relieving some of the weight above. In recent times, advanced technologies like ground-penetrating radar and Moon tomography have been employed to explore the pyramid further. These methods have led to the discovery of previously unknown voids and chambers, such as the Scan Pyramid's Big Void, a large empty space above the Grand Gallery discovered in 2017. The purpose of this void remains a mystery and continues to be a topic of ongoing research and speculation. The area surrounding the Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as Khufu's Pyramid, has been a treasure trove of archaeological discoveries.
I think there's a lot more remains to be discovered under the Giza Plateau.
Yeah.
These finds offer remarkable insights into ancient Egyptian civilization, their burial practices, religious beliefs, and daily life. One of the most intriguing discoveries is the solar boat pits, unearthed in 1954 by Egyptian archaeologist Kamal El-Malakh. These pits contain 2 intact boats buried near the Great Pyramid, positioned on the southern side. Known as solar barks, these boats were believed to serve a dual purpose. They were intended for Khufu's journey with the sun god Ra across the sky during the day and through the underworld at night. Another theory suggests they might have been used in the funerary procession of the pharaoh. The boats are made of Lebanese cedar wood, meticulously assembled without nails. The larger boat measures about 43.6 meters in length and features a sophisticated design with a cabin, oars, and rope bindings, using a technique known as mortise and tenon. The first boat was painstakingly reconstructed over 14 years by Egyptian conservator Ahmed Youssef Mustafa and is now displayed in the Khufu Boat Museum beside the Great Pyramid. The second boat remains in situ, awaiting advanced preservation techniques. In the early 1990s, Egyptian archaeologist Zahi Hawass and his team made a groundbreaking discovery southeast of the Great Pyramid, the tombs of the workers who built the pyramids. The tombs provided evidence that the builders were paid laborers who worked in 3-month rotating shifts, reflecting the societal structure and economy of the Old Kingdom. The tombs contained skeletal remains showing signs of healed injuries, indicating that workers had access to medical care. Pottery shards, tools, and remnants of food supplies such as bread and beer were also found, shedding light on their diet and daily life. The presence of beef and fish bones suggests that the workers received good nutrition. The tombs were simple, yet carefully constructed from mud brick and limestone, indicating a level of respect for the workers. Some tombs had hieroglyphic inscriptions and modest grave goods, signifying the workers' social status and the reverence afforded to them. Another significant discovery was made in 1925 by American archaeologist George Reisner when he uncovered the mastaba of Queen Hetepheres I, the mother of Khufu, in the Giza necropolis. Located to the northeast of the Great Pyramid, the tomb was initially hidden under debris. The tomb contained a large cache of funerary equipment, including a golden throne, a gilded bed with a canopy, chairs, a palanquin, and various personal items such as jewelry and cosmetic boxes. The craftsmanship of these items highlights the luxurious lifestyle of the royal family and the high level of artisanship of the period. Interestingly, Hetepheres' body was never found, leading to theories that her mummy might have been relocated or never placed in the tomb. Some suggest the burial equipment might have been prepared in anticipation of her death, but used for another purpose. The remains of Khufu's pyramid temple have been uncovered through various excavations conducted over the years, with significant contributions from archaeologists such as Mark Lehner and Zahi Hawass. The pyramid temple was a site for offerings and rituals to honor the deceased pharaoh Khufu. It played a central role in the funerary cult, where daily rituals and ceremonies ensured the pharaoh's immortality. The temple's remains include large limestone blocks, column bases, and fragments of statues and altars. The temple layout typically featured a courtyard, a hypostyle hall, and sanctuaries. The temple was connected to the pyramid by a causeway, which was used for processional purposes. Various small artifacts, including inscribed blocks, offering tables, and fragments of statues have been found. These artifacts shed light on the religious practices of the time, the artistic styles and the materials used. Notably, fragments of a life-size statue of Khufu have been uncovered, providing insights into the pharaoh's appearance and royal iconography. The tomb of Khentkaus III, discovered by archaeologists in the early 20th century, is also referred to as the Fourth Pyramid due to its unique design. Located to the southeast of the Great Pyramid within the Giza necropolis, the tomb features a unique design that combines elements of both a pyramid and a mastaba. It includes a stepped pyramid base with a superstructure that might have been intended as a pyramid but was left unfinished.
What if one of humanity's greatest monuments wasn't what we thought it was? For over 4,500 years, it has stood as a silent sentinel in the Sahara. A monument of such staggering scale and precision, it defies explanation. 2 million stones, some weighing as much as 15 tons, fit together with astonishing accuracy. But what was its true purpose? Hidden chambers, secret doors, and a mysterious void deep within its core. Did the ancients harness the Earth's energy in ways we are only beginning to understand? Join us as we unlock the secrets of the Great Pyramid and challenge everything you thought you knew about the past.
At the dawn of history, 2,500 years before Christ, an entire civilization gathered to build the greatest monuments on Earth. 13 million tons of solid rock, enough to build the city of London, were hauled across the deserts. Why? What vision drove this?
What if one of humanity's greatest monuments wasn't what we thought it was? As dawn breaks over the Sahara, the first rays of sunlight strike the limestone blocks of the Great Pyramid of Giza, igniting a golden glow that has captivated observers for over 4,500 years. We embark on a journey to delve into the mysteries concealed within this ancient wonder. Constructed around 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid stands as a monumental testament to the ingenuity and ambition of the ancient Egyptians. Traditionally believed to be the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, its sheer scale is astounding. Over 2 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 15 tons, assembled with such precision that even a credit card cannot slip between them. To put its size into perspective, the pyramid covers an area large enough to house 5 soccer fields. Entering the pyramid, we navigate the descending passage, a narrow corridor stretching over 100 meters, comparable to the length of a football field. This passage is less than 1.5 meters high, compelling visitors to stoop as they proceed into the depths of the structure. It leads to the subterranean chamber, an unfinished room beneath the pyramid's base, roughly the size of a large 2-car garage, but with a ceiling so low it feels like the earth is pressing down upon you. The rough, unadorned walls suggest either an abandoned project or a deliberate enigma left by the builders. Ascending back, we find the ascending passage, steep and confined, like climbing the aisle of a sharply tilted airplane. This corridor guides us toward the Grand Gallery, a breathtaking passageway as tall as a 7-story building and half a football field long. Walking through it feels akin to standing inside a colossal stone cathedral, the walls angling inward as if to draw your gaze upward toward the heavens. From the Grand Gallery, a horizontal passage takes us to the Queen's Chamber. This room, similar in size to a spacious master bedroom with a vaulted ceiling, holds more questions than answers. In 1993, a robotic explorer named Upuaut Saku ventured into the chamber's so-called air shafts, narrow tunnels no wider than a grapefruit. The robot discovered a limestone door with copper handles, known as Gantenbrink's door. Behind it lay another door, and beyond that, uncertainty. These blocked shafts remain a source of intrigue, with some suggesting they may conceal hidden chambers or hold symbolic significance related to ancient Egyptian beliefs. Above us looms the king's chamber, constructed entirely of granite rich in quartz crystals. The chamber is as imposing as a small banquet hall, yet eerily empty. An unadorned granite sarcophagus sits silently, devoid of inscriptions or any signs of a royal occupant. No mummy or treasure was ever found here, a fact that continues to puzzle historians and fuels speculation about the pyramid's true purpose. In 2017, using advanced muon tomography technology, scientists uncovered the Big Void, a hidden cavity the size of a passenger plane's fuselage nestled above the Grand Gallery. Its exact purpose remains unknown, and accessing it could risk damaging the pyramids. First-hand accounts deepen the mystery. In the early 19th century, explorer Giovanni Battista Caviglia braved the pyramid's inner passages. He described the experience as walking into the heart of an immense mystery, each stone whispering secrets of a forgotten time. His explorations, though perilous, contributed valuable insights, but also highlighted how much remains undiscovered. So, why is the Great Pyramid considered a tomb when no pharaoh's body was ever found within? Traditional archaeology points to its alignment with mortuary temples and texts that associate pyramids with the afterlife journey of the pharaohs. The pyramid complex includes elements typical of royal tombs, and other pyramids have indeed been found with burial chambers containing sarcophagi and funerary goods. Yet, some theorists propose alternative explanations. They suggest that the pyramid may have served as an astronomical observatory, a place of spiritual initiation, or even an ancient power plant. The latter theory draws fascinating parallels with the work of inventor Nikola Tesla, who was captivated by the pyramidal shape and its potential to harness and transmit energy. Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower was designed for wireless energy transmission, utilizing the Earth's natural frequencies, a concept that mirrors theories about the pyramid's function. The use of granite in the king's chamber, with its piezoelectric properties due to quartz crystals, leads some to speculate that the pyramid could generate energy through the Earth's vibrations or the flow of underground water. A natural aquifer lies beneath the pyramid. While there's no concrete evidence linking Tesla's theories directly to the Great Pyramid, the similarities are intriguing. Our journey ends where it began, at the pyramid's base, but the questions linger. What if the true purpose of the Great Pyramid was to bridge the earthly and the divine, not just in a spiritual sense, but through harnessing the very forces of nature? As the shadows lengthen over the sands, we realize that the pyramid doesn't just hold history, it challenges our understanding of it. In the words of renowned explorer Indiana Jones, archaeology is the search for fact, not truth. If it's truth you're interested in, Dr. Tyree's philosophy class is right down the hall. If you found this video captivating, don't miss our next adventure. Egyptologists discovered a labyrinth underground ancient humans could never build. Prepare to be awestruck by an ancient labyrinth hidden beneath Egypt's sands, predating even the mighty pyramids. This discovery could rewrite history as we know it. Join us as we delve into this subterranean marvel, navigating its intricate passages and unveiling hidden chambers, explore the secrets of its construction, decipher its purpose, and uncover its connection to the enigmatic Hawara Pyramid. Experts believe this labyrinth holds clues to ancient rituals and showcases the advanced engineering prowess of a pre-pharaonic civilization. Could this be the fabled Labyrinth of Egypt? Get ready to be amazed as we unravel this ancient enigma and its profound implications for understanding the rich tapestry of Egyptian history. Click now to embark on this extraordinary journey.
For people that haven't heard of the Labyrinth, it was one of the ancient wonders of the world. Like, this was described by Herodotus and Pliny the Elder and Strabo and all these historical figures that saw it. Herodotus described it as exceeding in splendor and wonder that of the pyramids. Like, this was the labyrinth was this sort of 1,000-room structure that was supposedly just absolutely magnificent. You could have fit all of the temples of Karnak and Luxor and all of the temples of Egypt into its footprint. That was just lost to the sands of time. we've never known where it is or what it is. And it would be like a pyramid. It would rival the Great Pyramid for sure if we were to find it. But it turns out we found it.
The Great Sphinx of Giza, a colossal figure with a lion's body and a human head, stands as a potent symbol of ancient Egypt, a silent sentinel guarding the pyramids and the secrets of a bygone era. Its enigmatic presence has fueled countless theories and speculations about its origins and purpose. Recently, a flurry of media attention surrounded a New York University NYU study, with headlines proclaiming a new origin story for the Sphinx, that it was primarily shaped by wind erosion before any human intervention. This narrative, while seemingly intriguing, crumbles under the weight of established archaeological and geological evidence, offering a misleadingly simplistic explanation for a monument born of complex human planning and execution.
The NYU researchers, led by Leif Ristroff, conducted a laboratory experiment aimed at exploring the potential of wind erosion to sculpt rock formations into recognizable shapes. Specifically, they investigated whether a naturally occurring, roughly conical mound of material with a harder inclusion, representing the head, could be eroded by a consistent unidirectional flow of water, simulating wind, into a form resembling a seated lion. Their model used a mound of bentonite clay, a material known for its susceptibility to erosion, with a short cylindrical piece of plastic embedded near the top to represent the harder rock that makes up the Sphinx's head. This model was placed in a water tunnel, and the flow was carefully controlled to come from a single direction, mimicking a constant wind. Over time, the water eroded the clay, creating a neck-like structure below the head and rudimentary pores at the base. The researchers documented this process using streak-like imaging, showcasing how the flow sculpted the clay. The experiment did demonstrate that, under these highly specific and controlled conditions, a vaguely leonine shape could emerge. This led the researchers to suggest that a similar process might have occurred at Giza, with natural wind erosion creating a proto-sphinx that later inspired and guided the final carving by ancient Egyptians. While the NYU experiment is scientifically valid within its own parameters, its applicability to the actual Great Sphinx is severely limited, and indeed, fundamentally flawed. The experiment's assumptions clash dramatically with the well-established historical and geological realities of the Giza Plateau, realities meticulously documented over centuries of archaeological and geological investigation. The most glaring discrepancy lies in the very foundation of the Sphinx. The NYU model presupposes a freestanding mound, exposed to wind from all sides. The Great Sphinx, however, sits within a deeply quarried hollow, carved down into the bedrock of the Giza Plateau. This is not a minor detail. It is the defining characteristic of the monument's creation. The Sphinx's pores, which emerged naturally in the experiment, were in reality painstakingly excavated by human hands, a testament to the immense labor and planning involved in the project. This practice of quarrying massive amounts of stone is a hallmark of Old Kingdom Egyptian construction, evident in the pyramids, the valley temples, and countless other monuments. The very act of creating the Sphinx enclosure removed any pre-existing natural formation that might have vaguely resembled a lion. The NYU experiment relies on a crucial and ultimately incorrect assumption: a constant unidirectional wind. The winds at Giza, both today and in antiquity, are far more complex and variable. Meteorological records, as well as historical accounts of sandstorms and wind patterns, demonstrate that Giza experiences winds from multiple directions, subject to seasonal shifts and unpredictable gusts. This variability would have prevented the formation of the precisely oriented, symmetrical erosion patterns observed in the controlled environment of the water tunnel. The assumption of a single prevailing wind simply does not hold up to scrutiny. The Sphinx's weathering is a far more intricate story than simply wind erosion. Its geological history, spanning millions of years, involves a complex interplay of forces, each leaving its mark on the monument. Tectonic activity. The Giza Plateau is not geologically static. Tectonic shifts and fault lines have created significant cracks and fissures within the Sphinx, features entirely absent from the smooth, homogeneous clay of the NYU model. These cracks, documented by geologists like Colin Reeder, significantly influence weathering patterns. Groundwater intrusion and salt exfoliation. The lower portions of the Sphinx, closer to the ancient water table, have been subjected to groundwater wicking. This process draws water up through the porous limestone, carrying dissolved salts. As the water evaporates, the salts crystallize, exerting pressure on the rock and causing it to flake and crumble, a process known as salt exfoliation. This is a major factor in the Sphinx's deterioration, particularly evident in the lower body and pores. Rainfall and runoff. Although rainfall is relatively infrequent in the Giza Desert today, historical records and geological evidence suggest that periods of more intense rainfall occurred in the past. These events would have contributed to erosion through surface runoff, carving channels, and further shaping the monument in ways not accounted for in the unidirectional flow of the experiment. The makeup of the rock. The experiment failed to account for the different rock hardness that is present at Giza. The bottom and top are harder, while the middle is a softer rock. The NYU experiment fundamentally misrepresents the geology of the Sphinx. It depicts the head as a single, isolated, harder inclusion embedded within a softer surrounding material. In reality, the hard, resistant limestone that forms the Sphinx's head is part of a continuous stratum that extends across the entire Giza Plateau. This same layer was extensively quarried by the ancient Egyptians to provide the massive blocks used to construct the Great Pyramid, a testament to its durability and extent. Geological surveys, core samples, and the visible evidence of quarrying all confirm this. The Sphinx was carved down into this pre-existing layered geological formation, a crucial fact that invalidates the experiment's basic premise. Wind-sculpted rock formations, known as yardangs, are a real geological phenomenon. In arid environments with consistent unidirectional winds and specific rock compositions, they can sometimes resemble animals or other recognizable shapes. However, the specific conditions required for the formation of a yardang resembling the NYU model's outcome, a small, isolated, hard inclusion within a much larger mass of softer, easily erodible material, coupled with unwavering unidirectional wind, are not representative of the Giza Plateau's complex geological history and variable wind patterns. While a yardang might have existed in the general area before the Sphinx enclosure was quarried, it could not have resembled the final form of the Sphinx, and crucially, it would have been removed during the quarrying process. The NYU research, while scientifically sound within its own limited scope, offers no credible explanation for the origin of the Great Sphinx of Giza. The overwhelming weight of archaeological and geological evidence, accumulated over centuries of study, points unequivocally to the Sphinx as a monument deliberately conceived, planned, and meticulously carved by ancient Egyptian artisans. The quarrying marks, the alignment with other Old Kingdom structures, the geological layering, and the complex history of weathering all contradict the simplistic wind-made narrative. If you like this video, then buckle up because you're going to love our next adventure. Get ready to discover the mystery of the bizarre ear tablets found near the Great Sphinx of Giza. That's right, we're diving deep into the ancient Egyptian practice of creating these strange votive offerings, also known as ear stelae, during the New Kingdom period. We'll explore their possible connection to the god Horemakhet, the Sphinx himself, and even other deities like Ptah. We're talking history, archaeology, and the hidden meaning behind these fascinating artifacts. Were they used for prayers? What secrets do the inscriptions hold? Join us next time as we uncover the secrets of ancient Egypt and these unique ear tablets. You won't want to miss it.
The sands of Egypt hold countless secrets, whispers of a civilization that flourished thousands of years ago. We are captivated by the grandeur of the pyramids, the enigmatic gaze of the Sphinx, and the intricate hieroglyphs that adorn temple walls. But sometimes, the most intriguing mysteries are found in the smaller, seemingly unusual artifacts. Today, we delve into one such enigma, the curious case of ancient Egyptian ear tablets. Our story begins in the 1930s, near the majestic Great Sphinx of Giza. Dr. Salim Hassan, a prominent Egyptologist, was leading excavations in and around the New Kingdom Sphinx Temple built by Amenhotep II, as well as within the Sphinx's enclosure itself. Amidst the expected finds, something peculiar emerged. Stone stelae, not inscribed with the usual hieroglyphs or divine figures but with carvings of human ears. These were not isolated occurrences. Dozens of these ear tablets were unearthed, presenting a perplexing puzzle.
They had drilled only a hole the width of a fingertip, just enough for a tiny camera to slip through. And when the lens crossed the threshold, the Great Pyramid answered with something that should not have been there. A sealed space, hidden in plain stone, waiting in the dark for millennia.
For a long time, the current story sounded settled. Khufu, Old Kingdom Egypt, a royal monument whose main interior spaces are already known: the Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the corridors between them. The rest, most people assume, is solid stone. But the pyramid has started to disagree, not with legend, with measurements. Muons come from cosmic rays in the sky. They pass through stone more easily than most particles do. If you place detectors around a giant structure and record muons for long enough, you can spot hidden emptiness, because muons thin out less where there is open space. It is a way of seeing without breaking. And when researchers used muon imaging on Khufu's pyramid, they found a shock, a large void above the Grand Gallery, big enough to be compared to real architecture, not a small gap between blocks. A peer-reviewed Nature paper reported the big void, and multiple teams using different detector types confirmed the signal. Researchers described it as the first major internal structure discovered inside the pyramid since the 19th century. Start there and feel the tension. A major unknown inside the most famous pyramid on Earth. Mainstream interpretation stayed cautious. A void does not automatically mean a secret room with artifacts. Big monuments sometimes contain relieving spaces, planned emptiness to manage stress and weight. The fact is, the void exists. The function is still debated. Then came the second jolt. Look at the north face, above the original entrance. The pyramid wears a striking pattern of chevron stones, like stacked arrows. For years, the chevrons were explained as engineering, spreading pressure away from the entrance zone. But muon measurements suggested something behind them, a corridor-shaped hollow, hidden just inside the surface. A corridor-shaped hollow. In a Nature Communications study, researchers precisely measured and modeled that space with muon radiography, turning the hint into geometry. Later, a scientific reports paper confirmed the same corridor using a combination of non-destructive testing methods stitched together through image fusion, another independent line of evidence pointing to the same hidden passage. Now, the moment that made headlines. A sealed chamber was opened, not with a dramatic break-in, but with restraint. A tiny opening was made in a mortar joint, just enough for an endoscopic camera. The lens slid inside. A light switched on, and the Great Pyramid revealed a narrow corridor, sealed for thousands of years. Stone walls laid in neat order, extending inward like a passage that was never meant to be part of the public story. Egyptian antiquities authorities publicly presented the discovery, while stressing that its purpose was not yet known. Scientists were not prepared for how built it looked. Because a purely structural void can be rough, irregular, and messy, this looked intentional, like a passage. So the safe story had to answer a dangerous question: why build a corridor and then hide it? Mainstream explanations come first because they are strong. The corridor may still be structural, a controlled void to protect the entrance zone from crushing weight.
Under the blazing Egyptian sun, archaeologists have just opened a tomb sealed for over 4,000 years. Inside is a chamber no human has entered since the day it was locked in the Age of the Pharaohs. What's inside could rewrite what we know about ancient Egypt and change our understanding of one of history's greatest civilizations.
It began not with fanfare, but with an unassuming excavation on the edge of the Saqqara necropolis. Archaeologists were following the faint outlines of collapsed stone walls when they struck a passageway, its entrance choked with rubble, its presence unmarked on any map. The shaft descended deep into the earth, each step carrying them closer to an age when the pyramids were still young. At the end lay a wall of limestone blocks, sealed with a mortar that had hardened like steel, and stamped with the royal cartouche of a name few had seen before. It was the signature of a ruler whose story had vanished from the records. The moment the final stone was pried free, the team was met with a silence so profound it felt almost deliberate. Their lights pierced the darkness, revealing painted walls still blazing with color, the pigments clinging to life after 4 millennia. Hieroglyphs danced in the beam, scenes of royal processions, offerings to the gods, and the journey through the underworld. One panel depicted the pharaoh standing before Osiris, the god of the afterlife, holding the Ankh, the symbol of eternal life. And then came the most startling discovery: the burial chamber itself, perfectly intact. The cedarwood sarcophagus, imported from the Levant, lay in the center, its lid carved with the serene face of the king. Around it, an astonishing array of artifacts lay exactly where ancient hands had placed them. Alabaster jars sealed with resin, gold amulets shaped like scarabs, and even trays of dried figs and bread prepared for the pharaoh's eternal feast. It was as though the man had been entombed yesterday, not during the Middle Kingdom. Recent scientific advances have given archaeologists a way to read such relics like never before. High-resolution 3D scanning captured every brushstroke on the painted walls before the slightest breeze could disturb the pigments. Residue analysis on the jars revealed traces of honey still sweet and perfumed oils whose scent lingered faintly in the air, a sensory bridge to a vanished world. Most astonishing of all, the linen wrappings inside the sarcophagus had not fully decayed. Using non-invasive imaging, researchers could see the contours of a mummified body without unwrapping it, preserving the pharaoh exactly as his priests had intended. But the tomb was more than a time capsule. It was a political statement. Inscriptions hinted at turbulent times: a drought that strained the Nile's bounty, border conflicts in the Sinai, and the rise of powerful provincial governors who challenged the crown. The pharaoh's choice of burial site, far from the grand royal pyramids, may have been an act of defiance or self-preservation, seeking eternal rest beyond the reach of courtly intrigue. The most haunting element, however, was a narrow stone chest sealed in pitch, found tucked into a recess in the chamber wall. Inside lay a set of scrolls written in a delicate hieratic script. Early translations suggest these were the king's personal reflections, a rarity in Egyptian archaeology. One fragment speaks of the weight of the double crown and the loneliness of ruling when even the gods seem silent. If authenticated, these writings could be among the earliest examples of royal introspection ever discovered. Opening the tomb has also reignited debates about ancient Egyptian engineering. The chamber's ceiling, constructed from massive granite slabs, shows no signs of collapse or shifting, proof of precision stonework that has endured earthquakes, floods, and the slow, crushing weight of time. Recent ground-penetrating radar surveys revealed a hidden ventilation system carved into the rock designed to preserve the air quality for the deceased. Such innovations are forcing scholars to reconsider the technological capabilities of the Middle Kingdom, often overshadowed by the more famous Pyramid Age. Yet for all the marvels, there is an inescapable sense of intrusion. The last person to see the inside of this tomb was likely a priest placing the final offering before sealing it forever. Now, after 4,000 years, we stand in that sacred space, our camera lights and measuring instruments replacing the flicker of oil lamps and the scent of incense. The ancient Egyptians believed that speaking the name of the dead kept their soul alive. With this discovery, the pharaoh's name, once lost, is spoken again. Some mysteries will remain. The full translation of the scrolls will take years. The genetic testing of the mummy may reveal unexpected lineages, alliances, or betrayals. And somewhere, still buried under the shifting sands, lie the tombs of those who served him, waiting for their own day in the sun. We've just stepped out of a tomb untouched for over 4,000 years, its secrets finally seeing the light of day. But what if I told you there's another ancient mystery, one so well hidden it's disguised as an ordinary mountain? Beneath the green slopes of Gunung Padang in Indonesia, evidence suggests a massive pyramid lies buried, and it could rewrite everything we think we know about human history.
High in the misty highlands of West Java, Indonesia, an ancient secret sleeps beneath the earth. This is Gunung Padang, a lush, emerald green hill crowned with mysterious stone ruins. For generations, local legend spoke of a mighty king who tried to build a palace here in a single night. By dawn, the tale goes, the king's work froze in time as fragmented pillars and terraces. It's a captivating story, but recent findings suggest an even more astonishing reality. A massive pyramid may lie hidden under this mountain, one that could be older than any structure ever known. The very idea sounds unbelievable. A buried step pyramid from before the end of the last ice age. Yet the whispers of what if have drawn scientists and adventurers into a thrilling quest to uncover the truth beneath the jungle floor.
From afar, Gunung Padang looks like just another green mountain rising out of the landscape. Its name even translates to Mountain of Enlightenment, and indeed, it has enlightened and baffled in equal measure. As you approach, the ordinary facade falls away. Impossibly, you begin to notice straight lines and terraces on the slopes. Climb the winding path, some 370 stone steps cut into the hillside, and you emerge atop a series of broad terraces. There are 5 distinct levels stepping up the summit, each smaller than the last, framed by crumbling retaining walls of stacked volcanic stone. Strewn across these platforms are hundreds of long, hexagonal stone pillars, andesite columns shaped by ancient hands, or perhaps by the fiery heart of the volcano itself.
They had drilled only a hole the width of a fingertip, just enough for a tiny camera to slip through. And when the lens crossed the threshold, the Great Pyramid answered with something that should not have been there. A sealed space, hidden in plain stone, waiting in the dark for millennia.
For a long time, the current story sounded settled. Khufu, Old Kingdom Egypt, a royal monument whose main interior spaces are already known: the Grand Gallery, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the corridors between them. The rest, most people assume, is solid stone. But the pyramid has started to disagree, not with legend, with measurements. Muons come from cosmic rays in the sky. They pass through stone more easily than most particles do. If you place detectors around a giant structure and record muons for long enough, you can spot hidden emptiness, because muons thin out less where there is open space. It is a way of seeing without breaking. And when researchers used muon imaging on Khufu's pyramid, they found a shock: a large void above the Grand Gallery, big enough to be compared to real architecture, not a small gap between blocks. A peer-reviewed Nature paper reported the Big Void, and multiple teams using different detector types confirmed the signal. Researchers described it as the first major internal structure discovered inside the pyramid since the 19th century. Start there and feel the tension. A major unknown inside the most famous pyramid on Earth. mainstream interpretation stayed cautious. A void does not automatically mean a secret room with artifacts. Big monuments sometimes contain relieving spaces, planned emptiness to manage stress and weight. The fact is, the void exists. The function is still debated. Then came the second jolt. Look at the north face, above the original entrance. The pyramid wears a striking pattern of chevron stones, like stacked arrows. For years, the chevrons were explained as engineering, spreading pressure away from the entrance zone. But muon measurements suggested something behind them, a corridor-shaped hollow, hidden just inside the surface. A corridor-shaped hollow. In a nature communications study, researchers precisely measured and modeled that space with muon radiography, turning the hint into geometry. Later, a scientific reports paper confirmed the same corridor using a combination of non-destructive testing methods stitched together through image fusion, another independent line of evidence pointing to the same hidden passage. Now, the moment that made headlines. A sealed chamber was opened, not with a dramatic break-in, but with restraint. A tiny opening was made in a mortar joint, just enough for an endoscopic camera. The lens slid inside. A light switched on, and the Great Pyramid revealed a narrow corridor, sealed for thousands of years. Stone walls laid in neat order, extending inward like a passage that was never meant to be part of the public story. Egyptian antiquities authorities publicly presented the discovery, while stressing that its purpose was not yet known. Scientists were not prepared for how built it looked. Because a purely structural void can be rough, irregular, and messy, this looked intentional, like a passage. So the safe story had to answer a dangerous question: why build a corridor and then hide it? Mainstream explanations come first because they are strong. The corridor may still be structural, a controlled void to protect the entrance zone from crushing weight. It may be a construction feature, a pocket or route used during building, then sealed when its job was done. In that reading, mystery is only the gap between ancient engineering and modern expectations. Skeptics add an important break. A corridor does not prove a destination. It might simply end. It might never have held anything. Calling it a secret tunnel can race ahead of evidence, but the pyramid keeps stacking coincidences into a pattern. Because the corridor sits inside a pyramid that already contains the big void, another major space, detected and confirmed, but not yet entered. And that matters. Two significant hidden absences in a monument famous for precision suggests a design that still has pages we have not read. Here is another hard constraint. You cannot just break in. Modern teams have to balance curiosity with preservation. The pyramid is a World Heritage icon, and even tiny interventions are sensitive. That is why the most powerful discoveries so far come from non-destructive methods: muons, radar, ultrasound, careful cameras, tools that let the stone keep its dignity while still giving up a little truth. Now, the timeline pressure begins. If this is Khufu's design, then Old Kingdom builders were not only stacking stone, they were composing hidden space as part of the plan. Building rooms, yes, but also building absences on purpose. What would have to be true for that to make sense? Here is where speculation begins, clearly labelled as speculation. Some spaces may have been meant to stay sealed. In that frame, sealing is not an accident. It is a choice. Certain zones could have been restricted, used briefly, then closed forever, whether for security, ritual control, or symbolic power. The corridor becomes a threshold, not unfinished, but deliberately denied. And this is where bigger, more controversial narratives rush in, not as facts, but as frameworks people use when the official story leaves gaps. Some imagine a lost high civilization, reset by catastrophe, leaving advanced knowledge behind in stone. Others pull from ancient myth and treat culture bringers and sky gods, names like the Anunnaki, as literal history. These ideas are not proven by muons or cameras. They are stories that bloom whenever the timeline wobbles and the stones refuse to explain themselves. Mainstream scholars push back with context. They point to the broader evidence for Old Kingdom Egypt's capabilities and organization. They argue that unknown spaces are normal in complex monuments, and that extraordinary claims require direct, specific proof, inscriptions, artifacts, or access that ties a space to a radical new conclusion. So we return to what we can honestly say. The Great Pyramid contains a large, confirmed void above the Grand Gallery. It contains a confirmed, sealed corridor behind the north face chevrons, measured by muon radiography, confirmed again with independent, non-destructive testing, and visually observed with an endoscope. And the purpose of both remains uncertain. That uncertainty is the real provocation, because once the map is complete, becomes the map is a draft, everything changes. If one sealed corridor was waiting behind the chevrons, what else is waiting behind other features we have dismissed as decoration or simple engineering? If the big void is real, what shape does it truly take? And what does it balance, protect, or conceal? And if a hidden chamber exists, never entered, never photographed, what will happen to the current story the moment the first light touches its walls? The timeline does not break all at once. It wobbles, and the Great Pyramid still has leverage. Reports of a newly found hidden chamber inside the Great Pyramid raise the stakes in a way the corridor did not. If the last discovery was a passage, the next may be a doorway. And we are going to ask what it would mean if something important has been sealed inside all along.
Using advanced cosmic ray scans, scientists have just detected a massive hidden chamber deep within the Great Pyramid of Giza, a space untouched for more than 4,000 years. It lies above the Grand Gallery, sealed behind solid limestone, and its purpose remains completely unknown. Some believe it could contain the pharaoh's true burial chamber, while others think it hides something far more mysterious. A secret the ancient builders never meant to be found.
The discovery began not with shovels or chisels, but with cosmic rays. In 2023, a team from Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities and Japan's Nagoya University expanded their Scan Pyramids project, a revolutionary effort that uses muon imaging, the same technology used to detect volcano activity and nuclear material. When the detectors were placed inside the king's chamber and at key points outside the pyramid, they picked up a startling anomaly. A vast void nearly 30 feet long, positioned directly above the Grand Gallery. The signal was unmistakable. Something massive and completely sealed off was hidden within the structure's heart. For decades, exact, it mirrors the pyramid's astronomical precision. This wasn't a structural mistake or leftover cavity. It was designed, built, and concealed with purpose. But for what? Some researchers believe it might be a hidden passage, a relieving space designed to reduce pressure above the Grand Gallery. Yet the dimensions make that unlikely. Others suggest it could contain the long-rumored Throne of Khufu, a legendary object mentioned in ancient texts, said to be crafted of meteoritic iron and placed within the pyramid to help the pharaoh's soul ascend to the stars. Adding fuel to the mystery, thermal scans of the northern face have revealed hot spots where the temperature differs from surrounding stone, suggesting possible entrances or corridors yet to be opened. The heat anomalies match the location of the void, indicating there may be connecting shafts or passageways sealed behind blocks of limestone. Perhaps hidden doors that the ancient builders designed to remain invisible. If true, the implications are staggering. For centuries, the Great Pyramid has been viewed as a tomb, a monument to a single king's afterlife. But new evidence paints a different picture. The precision, the geometry, the use of materials, all hint at something more complex, perhaps even functional.
Noah is actually a term that was given as a biblical term. He was actually the very last of these pre-Diluvian kings of one of these original 5 cities of Sumer.
Are we looking at the traces of a forgotten episode in human history? I think so. I think that's what's going on here.
Would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a lost technology from the past?
I think it would be fair to say that, yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered about the legend of King Gilgamesh and the ancient city he ruled? Let's dive into a time machine and head back to around 2700 BCE, right into the heart of Mesopotamian civilization, during what scholars call the early dynastic period.
I would prefer to propose, and I have proposed, that what we're looking at is evidence of some kind of transfer of technology, that people came into that area who had other knowledge.
This was an era when city-states were popping up all over Mesopotamia, marking some of the earliest complex societies in human history. And right there, in the thick of it, was Gilgamesh, a name that echoes through history not just as a king but as a figure of myth and epic tales. Gilgamesh's realm was none other than Uruk, a jewel among the Sumerian city-states, nestled in the fertile lands along the Euphrates River in what we now know as modern-day Iraq.
This is a very neglected area of the world, as far as deep and ancient archaeology goes.
Picture this, a bustling urban center alive with the hum of marketplaces, the grandeur of massive temple complexes, and the imposing presence of the legendary Uruk wall, said to be built by Gilgamesh himself.
It's interesting that the patterns are geometrical. Someone made it, and it involved a very large amount of organized labor in order to make it. There had to be the will and the intent in order to do that.
Uruk wasn't just any city. It was a beacon of culture, economy, and innovation, credited with many firsts in human civilization, including the invention of cuneiform writing. But what was life like under King Gilgamesh's rule? Imagine a leader who was more than just a man. He was a figure of divine significance, believed to be responsible for the welfare and prosperity of his people. Under his leadership, Uruk flourished, becoming a center for religious devotion, particularly for the worship of Inanna, a major deity in the Sumerian pantheon. Gilgamesh's Uruk was a city that represented the zenith of Sumerian engineering, architecture, and social organization, boasting a population that highlighted its status as one of the world's largest cities at the time. During his reign, Gilgamesh would have been the linchpin in the city's governance, overseeing administrative decisions, religious practices, and military campaigns to safeguard Uruk's interests. His leadership likely saw the construction of monumental projects that not only enhanced the city's splendor, but also its defenses, ensuring Uruk's prominence in the annals of ancient history.
For over 5,000 years, Stonehenge has stood in silence, a puzzle that has defied scientists, historians, and skeptics alike. But a recent underground scan has exposed something no one was prepared for: a massive hidden chamber buried deep beneath the stones. Sealed off since before recorded history, this space holds bizarre markings, impossible artifacts, and evidence that points to an origin story far stranger than we've been told. Some experts are already warning that this discovery will ignite global controversy. Because if what's inside is real, it doesn't just rewrite history. It questions who really built Stonehenge and why they may have wanted to hide the truth for thousands of years.
The news electrified the archaeological world. Stonehenge, long believed to be fully explored, has just surrendered a secret we didn't even know existed. This isn't a minor detail or a buried trinket. It's a find that could change our understanding of who built Stonehenge, why they built it, and what rituals may have taken place here thousands of years before the pyramids of Egypt rose from the sands. For generations, the monument's secret seemed locked in its ancient stones. Theories flourished: an astronomical observatory, a burial site for elite chieftains, a spiritual gateway to the afterlife. But the latest technological tools, ground-penetrating radar and magnetometry, have pierced the earth beneath the monument with a precision never before possible. What they revealed stunned even the most seasoned researchers. An anomaly in the bedrock, perfectly geometric, sealed by layers of chalk and soil, hiding something man-made. The excavation that followed was cautious. Stonehenge is one of the most protected archaeological sites in the world, and disturbing it is no small matter. But slowly, layer by layer, the soil was peeled back. At a depth of nearly 10 feet, they found it. A hollowed-out chamber, roughly the size of a small room, cut directly into the chalk beneath the stones. Its walls were smoothed with remarkable care, and scattered across its floor were artifacts that no one expected. Polished stone tools, carved antler picks, and fragments of animal bone arranged in deliberate patterns. Even more astonishing was the presence of something that had never been documented at Stonehenge before: an engraved slab, etched with a series of interconnected spirals and symbols. Unlike the rough surfaces of the outer stones, these markings were fine and precise, as if telling a story meant only for those who knew the code. Some of these symbols match markings found at Neolithic sites in Ireland and the Orkney Islands, hinting at a cultural network spanning hundreds of miles. Could it be that Stonehenge was part of something far larger, a web of sacred sites sharing a single unifying belief system? The chamber's location may hold the key. It lies directly beneath what's known as the altar stone, a massive slab at the center of Stonehenge's inner circle. This positioning suggests the chamber was central to the monument's original purpose, perhaps a hidden sanctum for high priests or a repository for sacred objects. Some archaeologists believe it might have been a place where initiates underwent rites of passage, shielded from the eyes of the unworthy. Others wonder if it could be a kind of time capsule, deliberately sealed to preserve the memory of a forgotten age. Recent carbon dating of the bones from the chamber indicates they are over 5,000 years old, placing them in Stonehenge's earliest construction phase. This pushes back the timeline for complex ritual activity here by centuries. And intriguingly, isotopic analysis of the animal remains shows they came from as far away as modern-day Scotland, suggesting Stonehenge was drawing people, and perhaps pilgrims, from across the British Isles. The discovery also reopens one of the most heated debates in archaeology. How did Neolithic peoples, with no written language and only rudimentary tools, achieve such engineering feats? The chamber's precision-cut walls challenge assumptions about their capabilities. Some researchers are now looking into whether advanced techniques, possibly taught by a now-lost culture, were shared among the builders. But the revelations don't stop there. Residues found on some of the stone tools point to a rare mineral not native to southern England. This mineral, traced to quarries in what is now Brittany, France, suggests trade routes far more sophisticated than previously thought. If correct, it means Stonehenge's builders were connected to a maritime culture capable of crossing the English Channel centuries before recorded seafaring in the region. And then there's the most tantalizing clue of all. Within the chamber's engraved slab, a set of markings appears to correspond to solar and lunar cycles. Some experts propose it could be the oldest known calendar in Britain, a sacred chronometer used to align rituals with celestial events. This would reinforce the theory that Stonehenge was not just a place of the dead, but a living monument that linked earth and sky, time and eternity. As scientists work to decode the symbols, one thing is certain: Stonehenge has not yet told all its secrets. Each discovery peels back another layer of the past, revealing a world both alien and familiar. Standing among the stones today, it's impossible not to feel the weight of millennia pressing down, the voices of those who walked here long before us whispering through the wind. The hidden chamber beneath Stonehenge is more than just a room. It is a time-locked message from our ancestors, a reminder that history is not fixed but alive, waiting to be rediscovered. And if this find is any indication, the story of Stonehenge is far from over. What else lies hidden beneath its ancient stones, waiting to change everything we thought we knew? We've just uncovered a hidden chamber within Stonehenge, revealing secrets buried for thousands of years. But while this ancient circle still guards its mysteries, halfway across the world lies a necropolis even more enigmatic. Beneath the sands of Saqqara in Egypt, something is stirring. Whispers of chambers, tunnels, and tombs that could change history all over again.
For centuries, the ancient necropolis of Saqqara has quietly held one of Egypt's greatest secrets, buried beneath the sands, hidden from the prying eyes of history. What lies beneath its vast sacred grounds is a mystery that has baffled archaeologists and historians alike. Yet recent discoveries have begun to unravel the deep layers of history hidden beneath Saqqara's surface, revealing secrets that might change everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt.
Sitting along the western banks of the Nile, just a short distance from Cairo, Saqqara is most famous for being the burial ground of the ancient Egyptian city of Memphis, which was once the capital of the Old Kingdom. It is perhaps best known for the step pyramid of Djoser, the world's first monumental stone structure, but the site is far more than just one iconic pyramid. It is a sprawling, multi-layered necropolis filled with tombs, burial shafts, and hidden chambers that have, until recently, remained largely unexplored.